All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Coffee Run with John from ProCraps on Casino Gaming TV. Brought to you by Premier Casino Hosting. I got to keep remember to say that. They're not really a sponsor of ours, but I work with Premier Hosting. I'm actually one of their hosts, or I'm learning to be a host. I'm kind of a sub-host. So learning it. So yeah, they're a big part of my life right now. We're doing a lot of bookings through them. And as you know, if you want a casino host, that's also a friend. Look me up. Let's talk. Tarlon says, so John, what's my favorite coffee? I darker the better. I'm a dark roast guy. And like my beer too. I like a porter. I love Guinness, but I like more of a chocolatey porter kind of a beer. And the coffee to me has got to be super thick. The brand we like best is Cafe D'Arte. You can get it on Amazon. Our favorite coffee stand, that's what they serve, and it's fantastic. So we actually just bought a brand new, I hate it. We bought a brand new coffee maker, which I don't like, but it's a DeLonghi, and you put the raw beans in it, and you just get, coffee, and it grinds the beans and brews a cup, which is supposed to be perfect, but it's buggy. It's kind of a pain in the ass to use, but it makes a great cup of coffee. Anyway, actually, it's interesting. Somebody from Hawaii used to, at least a couple years back, he roast his own beans, and he was sending me coffee in the mail. It was awesome. Anyway, here we go. Let's get off on our show here. Couple things. Number one, if you haven't heard it yet, and I like to promote these guys because A, they're friends of mine, and B, I just enjoy the show. Casino Tears. This last Tuesday's episode is a good one. Ed goes off. Now, the way that 10 Ton cuts the videos out, right? He gives you about a half an hour or so on the podcast for free on Apple or whatever else. Then he goes, if you want more, come to the Patreon and pay your $10 a month and get the rest of it. It's worth the $10. I mean, to me, the extra half an hour that you get of the show is great. You get to kind of chat with the guys a little bit. It's worth the money. Again, they're not going to get rich and buy Maseratis up for 10 freaking bucks, right? It's not about that. I show support, right? And this is going to make Ed mad, right? But I pay for Jeremy too, right? I'm a Jeremy Color Up member. I pay him monthly. I pay Big AZ monthly. I pay Wager Me This still. I'm a member for him. I pay him monthly. I just feel like, for me, if they're putting out content, and I know what it takes to put, trust me, I know what it takes to put content. I got 5 o'clock this morning to figure out today's show. It takes a lot of effort to put these shows together, especially when they're live, but the editing and it takes for Jeremy and these guys to put stuff, it takes a lot. So if they're doing $5-10 a month, I don't care, right? It's worth the money to me to support them in their efforts and put more content out. So like them or hate them, whatever, I pay them all. That's kind of how I look at that. If I agree with the content, or if they're friends of mine, I suppose, right? I'm just that guy. You don't have to do that. Anyway, Casino Tears is great. Ed goes off this week, and it's kind of funny. I'm not going to give it away. It's worth the spend to go hear Ed go off. And he goes off in a good way. Nobody goes off in a good way. Let's just call a spade a spade. Actually, Fran, 10 Ton has to bleep him. Like, Ed's pretty unfiltered, right? When 10 Ton has to bleep Ed in a podcast, he went off, right? It's worth it to hear that. And he's right. He brings up a great point. And the point that he brings up, that Ed brought up, is one that I brought up a few times in the past, which is about, and we talked about this with the whole gargoyle thing, right? And the JB thing, right? When those two kind of went at it, and Cashier's Cage comes in and gets after it with gargoyle sometimes. And it's like, we got to remember, everybody remember, and Ed says this great in this episode, there's a human on the other side of that thing, right? You might be selling wolf tickets on your end, or you might be just popping off because you feel like you can pop off, right? That may be your thing. And you're a keyboard warrior, you might be called, right? Or you have the camera and you can say whatever you want to on the camera. I do it all the time, right? I give Jimmy a bunch of shit all the time on the camera, right? And he's not in my house, right? So I can kind of say what I want to say, I guess, right? And you can feel pretty brave behind the camera or behind the keyboard. We got to remember there's somebody there. Somebody's on the other side of that thing hearing that message, right? And if they're being ridiculed, like Ed is responding negatively to somebody getting ridiculed, which I think is appropriate in this case for sure. And he calls it out. He's like, "Hey, don't do that," right? And I should do a better job of that too, right? When friends of mine ridicule friends of mine, I should call that out a little bit more. You can have your opinion, right, on dice influence or not, or math or not, or this or not, or that or not, but your opinion is your opinion. Just like your asshole is your asshole. You all got one, right? And you're free to have them and you're free to espouse them. What you're not free to do is use them as weapons, right? And that's the thing. I think that's kind of where we are societally anyway, right? Opinions have become weapons now. And I think we fall into that trap too. And Ed just calls it out. He's like, you may have your opinion on DI. Do not ridicule somebody for believing it and thinking that they're doing okay. Got a guy who's proud of himself, doing a good job, getting ridiculed for it. That's where Ed reacts. And I agree with him on that. There's a person over there that's actually, has to listen to that. Right. And I think we have to be cognizant of that as a group, not as our group, but as a group of people in America. Anyway, soapbox done. Go get Casino Tiers. Go subscribe to those two. Buy the shirts, buy the hats, buy the dice. Help them out. They're putting out great content. Like I said, I love their content. To me, that podcast is fun. It's lighthearted. You're not sitting there taking notes, trying to get all serious. It's just listening to those two talk, right? And it's good. It's like Craps Chat, but it's like in your ears. I love it. All right. LFC tonight. Don't forget. I got to remind myself to remind you LFC every Wednesday. I got to also remind myself to remind you about the D8 table that's going. Yesterday, I want to make sure I say the person's name right. So give me 1 second here. I want to make sure I call. This is actually a really good call out. Let's see. Let me go find it up here. Kevin Scott. Is Kevin Scott in here? I know he was in the morning show, the other morning show. Kevin Scott, who also goes by Dice Whisperer #1 in the chats, was on the D8 table yesterday with Craig. And, as you know, Craig, they're donating every 11 they throw on that show. There's a donation ask to go to Layla's college fund. Layla, daughter of Chiro Mucci, who is Midmo Yo. He passed away about a year ago. That show's raising a bunch of money for her college fund. Kevin donated $500 yesterday. So we got to, I don't have a way. Do I have a way to call him out? I don't think I have I think I do actually. There's somehow, somewhere, there's an applause button. Where's my applause? There it is right there. Boom. Can y'all hear that? Good job, dude. Really appreciate that. I think we've raised, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong. If Craig's in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that he raised $1,600 before. And now with this 500, I think they're up over $3,000. If I'm not mistaken, I think Craig told me this. Let me take a look here. I know I should be more prepared, right? I think Craig said, let me go to the panel discussion here. I think he said that they are up over, hold on, that's the wrong chat. I got so many chats going on. I think they're up over $3,000. 1,000 so far for the season, which is great. I think last season they were at 1,600. So that's amazing, right? I think that her college fund has got about $5,000 in it now from us. We think we put about $5,000 into that account. She's only 5. We get her account to $10,000, right? And leave it. That 10,000 will grow enough by the time she's 18 to pay for her entire education, right? What a great legacy for Chiro, for his family. And I can't even tell you, man, how cool that is that we've kind of stepped up as a group for that. So that's awesome. We're going to be stepping up as a group for Craps for the Cure pretty soon. So I'm going to start, as you know, turning my attention over that way. But meantime, I'm going to be out in Vegas in a couple of weeks for Heavy's birthday. Heavy Haltham from Access Power Craps having a birthday. He invited me out, believe it or not, me of all people. Invited me out to sit on a panel discussion. I'm going to be with him. I'm going to be with 10 Ton from Casino Tiers. We're going to do a little panel discussion about what it takes to put a YouTube channel together, what it takes to do marketing, all this kind of stuff. We're going to talk through that. I appreciate the invite, Heavy. I'll be out there to help out. Of course, we're going to play together for the first time, which is great, at Palace Station for the weekend. That's going to be awesome. Also be talking to David at Casino Quest during that same 2-week period and kind of getting into what it looks like for me to get my dealer training in and sort of start transitioning and doing some podcasting with him perhaps. And I'll talk to 10 Ton as well about podcasting with him as well. So a lot of things kind of in the works. It's gonna be a very busy couple of days there for that weekend, but I'm looking forward to it. Being in Vegas on September 7th weekend. The Daily Paycheck, I'll give you an update here in a minute. We're still on the hunt for the way to play. I might have discovered something. I'm not sure it's right, but we'll talk about it briefly today, but more hardcore tomorrow. And then, of course, the meat of today's show, I do want to talk about the Martingale because we brought up yesterday a strategy that from the Jimmy guy that I don't like the strategy as itself. It sucks, right? But worst case, he makes it worse by martingale-ing it. And I think a lot of new gamblers, and I would classify Jimmy as a new gambler, fall into the martingale trap. And we're going to talk about the martingale today, why it can work, how it can work, how it does work, but really why you should never do a martingale. Okay, that's going to be the thing. Randy Hill, why can't we just all get along? We should be able to get along. It seems easy. Doesn't it seem easy to get along, right? Just like, honest to God, you have a choice in every interaction not to be a douchebag. You have a choice all the time. You can choose not to type what you're about to type at somebody. You can choose not to say what you're going to say about somebody or about, and remember this too, right? It's not just when you call a person out. This is going to wind back a little bit. This might get political, not super political, but think about this. I don't have to say, I think Anthony, AZ Crap Shooters, is full of shit because he plays a 2-hit and down strategy, right? I could say that, right? By the way, I'm just picking you out because you're the first person in my chat. Right? I could say Anthony is a dumbass because he plays a 2-hit strategy, and there's no way you can win that way. There's no way he can go to a casino in Arizona and hit 2 and make his money, right? I can say that, and that would be a pointed attack at him, right? And he and I could have words, and we probably will have words now after the show because I called him out, right? That's one thing. That's a personal attack. That's what happened with Gargoyle and some other guys, right? The worst thing, I think, worse than that, because that's me against him. We can have that, right? But if I say, you know what, people who believe that you can get 2 hits and walk more often than not and win money are fucking morons. I can't believe that there's a cultish mentality surrounding 2 hits and down, and the people who fall into that trap are fucking idiots. When I say something like that, that groups you all in. That's more heinous than me saying Anthony's an idiot, because that's me and him. Otherwise, I brought you all into this thing, right? Look at the political scene we have now, right? Everything that's out there right now, whether it's the border, the economy, Ukraine, whatever, Palestine and Israel, God forbid, right? Now you're saying if you fall into this group, that entire group is an uneducated set of imbeciles. That's where we are right now, right? So be careful about that, right? You have a choice whether or not to not only share your opinion, but to use your opinion as a weapon. And you can choose to type or not type, to make the phone call or not, to say what you're going to say on camera or not, do the interview or not, make the speech or not. We all have that choice to not be a douchebag in every single moment. Today, for whatever reason in 2024, most people are making the choice to be douchebags. They're taking every opportunity they can to make sure their opinion is the hammer and everybody else has to fall in line or they're canceled, right? That's where we are right now. It's a damn shame that we got there. So Anthony, I'm sorry. I just literally, I looked at my chat. You were the first person in my chat that I can see. So I'm not really, I love Anthony. Anthony's great. I'm just giving you a hard time, dude. Anyway, I'm about to blow up my Discord inbox. That's so funny. Literally just looked down and saw his logo and I'm like, that's Anthony. Anyway, let's get after the real show here. Okay. Let's jump into a couple of things. First things first, daily paycheck. We won again today. We're 6-1 for August, which is great. The 82% win rate or 86% win rate is good. I'm looking for 80. If I can win 80% of the time, I'm going to be golden, the golden child, right? Why 80% is the number, right? Let's think about what I'm doing. I'm doing a 2-hit strategy, right? If I have the across numbers covered, I have an 80% chance to beat the 7, right? 24 ways to win, 6 ways to lose, 80% chance to beat the 7, right? I got to do it twice. I got an 80% chance to win here, take a breath, reduce my bets down, 80% chance to win there, and I'm out. If I can do that, right, and maintain the 80, we're going to be on en fuego, as you can see here. 6-1, up about 2K. Even though I got my ass tore up one day, we're still up for the month, right? That's the magic of the 80% number. So far, yeah, all right. What's funny about this whole thing is I've been playing the Dallas Drawdown, which I know the numbers here are kind of small. The Dallas Drawdown, I need my glasses to see that actually. The Dallas Drawdown is 41-7, okay? 55 or 85% win rate, which is good, right? It's the big leader in the clubhouse, right? The 2100 Salute is 13-5, 72% win rate, but look at the profit. It's down $4,000, right? Same strategy. They're literally the same strategy. It is 2 hits and out, right? One of them, I regress my bets. One of them, I don't, right? They're the same. I'm just getting unlucky when I play the 2100. They're the same thing. If I had the 2100 Salute and I played it to a 41-7 record, it would have more profit than the Dallas Drawdown would. And I can prove that to you. Matter of fact, tomorrow, I'm going to do a little side-by-side of those 2 ways to play. And what I found is the 2100 Salute, when played properly and played with discipline, actually seems like it has an expected win versus an expected loss, which the Dallas Drawdown has an expected loss. I'm going to do some more math on that and we'll see. But really, those 2 things are been the safest ways to play. They've been the safest way to play. I'm going to put them together and you'll see that tomorrow. And you want to see a side-by-side of the Dallas Drawdown to the Skill Slash, we should totally do that. Tomorrow might be a good day, actually. Remind me over text, Skill, to do that. And we'll do a little Skill Slash along with, and put them together and see where's the EV on these things and how do you actually win. And again, I want 2 hits and bye-bye. I don't want to be out there for 9 years. You see the other strategy, that Cum Blaster strategy we're playing, that thing takes like 9 hits to win. You know, it's nice and it's good grind and blah, blah, blah. It takes too damn long. I'm loving the in and out thing. And so far, knock on all the wood, you know, I'm at the 80% win rate. And that's all you need. If you can, because the expected win there is 66%. You're expected to win 80% times 80%, about 65, 66% of the time. If I'm at 80, I'm overachieving. And so far, I've been lucky enough to overachieve. So there it is. All right. Before I jump into the other stuff, let's do a couple of PC. I see a couple of, where's my freaking mouse? Hello, mouse. There we go. I'm going to search for PCs. There's a couple of things in here. Let's see. Is Craps Chat going to do that too? Do what too, Skill? Can you give me some context on that? You probably ever react to something I said earlier. What is that? Dan asked me, is Casino Quest moved from the mall? Not yet. Potentially they'll move from the mall. The Casino Quest experience is different than the dealer training school. So the Casino Quest business model is twofold, right? One is at the mall, the Casino Quest experience is for players to come and kind of mess around with playing. Pay a few bucks an hour, get on a table, there's a live dealer, play with fake money, but you're playing a live game. That's the idea there, is to get you ready for the casino. And that's in the mall and it's an experience. The Casino Training Center, the dealer training school, which is by Palace Station, that's a training center. That's where they train dealers. It's basically the old CEG dealer school, but supersized. I think CEG was about 2,000 square feet. This place is 10,000 square feet. So it's mega size. They're also doing player training. You can go in there and now take a course for a couple of hours, potentially a full day course. I may be helping out in designing a full day course where you go in there, 9 to 5. And from 9 to like noon or 1, I'm training you at a table how to play the game, all the rules and and then at 1 o'clock we go to Palace Station and play together live. Like that may be a different piece. That's what training, player training, dealer training, security training. That's what that place is for. The mall, I don't think is going to go anywhere. As far as I know, the mall's not going anywhere. If it does go somewhere, it'll be replaced with something different. They'll move that experience someplace else, potentially as part of the DTC in that same area. We don't know yet, but yeah, the mall, the leases at malls are not cheap. You know what I mean? So that's a tough business model, but it's a great resource for people to practice where they're close to the games. They're close to the casinos. And that's the reason for that being there, is that it's convenient. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Let's see. The ladies also love an in and out. They do. Quick in and out, right? Quick in and out, hit it hard, get out, go home, right? Boom. There, I'm not having more I could go to there, but it's a family show. Let's see. Jalanpan says, if I create a strategy that does win 80% of the time, and it gains massive popularity and spreads from person to person throughout the country. How would the casinos handle that? They don't care. They still have the edge, right? No strategy on its own really wins 80% of the time, unless, and here's the big unless, right? You go across 3,600 across, you have an 80% expected win rate there. Okay. Do the math on that. 80% of the time, you're going to win about 700. 4 and 10 pay extra, but everything else pays. Let's just call it 750. We'll average it out. 750. You're going to win 750 80% of the time. $750 24 times. That's your expected win. What is that? 24 times 750. That's $18,000. That's your expected win. What's your expected loss? You're going to lose $3,600 or $3,200 times 6, which is $19,200. You're expected to lose the across bet 6 times, $19,200. You're expected to win an average of 750 24 times. Your EV is negative. You're going to lose, even if you win 80% of the time, you're still going to lose money. That's like, this is where the math bites you in the ass. And I think people don't realize that. 80% seems like a good number. Now, what I'm doing is I'm winning twice. I win the first one and the second one, right? If I can win both bets 80% of the time, which is, again, you're supposed to win both bets 60% of the time. Now that changes things because you're winning more money, and the farther you go into the hand, your losses reduce. You don't lose 3,200, you lose 900 on the second one. So when you reduce the loss size on half of the losses, things change a little bit. It's hard. The casinos are never going to ban you because there's no strategy out there that has a positive EV. No matter what you do, they've always got the hammer at some point. You can play whatever you want to. And I think today's show is going to be about the Martingale, which really proves that. The Martingale really comes out and shows you what the casinos will do when there is a positive EV. And the Martingale is the only actual positive EV betting system out there. It is a positive EV, so the casinos have stopped it. So, okay. Yeah, potentially I could see us doing that at some point. To me, at some point there's a world where there's many podcasts. There's the Casino Tears podcast. There's the Craps Chat podcast. There's Color Ups podcast. There's Crap Vegas podcast. There's potentially David's podcast again coming to life. There's all these things, right? You can't pay $10 to everybody, right? But there sure as hell could be a podcasting network, CGTV, where all those things could live and all that money can come and it can all get spread out. That might be a vision that some fat bald guy in Seattle has, right? That's where that's probably heading. And that's the conversations I'm trying to have a little bit, right? Is a little bit of unification, not of the message, but of the delivery. And that's the thing that I think we need to consider. That's why I started CGTV way back. It's hard, man. It's hard. Okay. Let's see. We're going to be at the training center for Craps for the Cure. Yes, because we have a room there. There's a conference room that I can have a table and do interviews at. There's also the table that we can film at for all of our stuff. It's actually the perfect setup for us. So that's where we're going to be for sure. And actually, good segue, Craps for the Cure. Let's talk about what's going to happen here. So we're going to be at Casino Quest at the Duo Training Center by Palace Station. We'll be at Palace Station playing live a little bit. We will be doing these donation streams, pre-event donations. We're going to start doing super chats on the shows and moving the money in. We're going to talk to Chuck about getting Crapsy to take money during the live play at the live table and have folks donate through Crapsy right to the charity. Attendance tickets, obviously, the raffle items, obviously, and live stream donations. There's potentially some room in there for the casinos to do some matching or some donations on their own to show their love and support for what we're trying to do. Raffle items are Joe's custom tables, the big ticket item, Heavy's class, Dice Coach's class, a cruise with me and maybe some others. Garrison's putting up the system, Casino Player Magazine's putting up subscriptions, and Casino Tears is putting up a pro pack of all their stuff. Jeremy's going to put something up from Color Up, I think, and potentially a casino used felt or two will be out there as well. But we're not going to have 85 things. We're going to have probably a handful of things and try and focus the winning. Very much considering a 50-50 as well. So, pardon me, potentially a 50-50 raffle because we're all gamblers, right? The 50-50 raffle is tough because you run into gambling laws. So we need to figure that out a little bit. So I will doing research before I say yes on that one for sure. As far as guests and segments goes, Heavy, Dice Coach, Daddy David, Alex Kim, of course, our regulars. Chuck from Crapseed will probably be there virtually. Premier Casino Hosting will be there, potentially virtually. We'll see. Holy Roller Brian will do a segment with us on cruising. We're talking to some casino staffers about credit, about ratings and comps and how all that stuff works. I plan to do a live episode of Craps Chat, a live like we did last year with studio audience, maybe a live episode of Casino Tears. I haven't talked to 10 Ton and Ed about this yet, but it'd be really cool to film a Casino Tears episode live during the event. Wouldn't that be great to have those two things happen live and maybe take some audience questions? That's kind of what we're planning for, looking ahead at it. So anyway, what else? Competitions. I'm thinking about like some shooting accuracy, some no sevens thing. You think you can bet competition? I'm not sure about doing the big what do we call that? The square off, whatever we called it last year. I'm not sure about that yet. We'll see. We'll see about that. But that's kind of what's in my mind as I get things solidified and have dates and times. I will let you know that we can make your plan. Today, let's talk about the Martingale. And again, I know it feels like I'm picking on certain people when I talk about these things. And to some degree, I certainly am. And I know I said earlier that it would be very unfair of somebody to say everybody who thinks that this way is an idiot. And it's going to sound like I'm saying that when I talk Martingale, but there's a reason behind all this. Okay. So the Martingale system is an unbeatable gambling system. Okay. It's an aggressive negative progression. Basically what happens is this. If you don't know this already, you double your bets when you lose. So let's say you bet $25 and you lose it. You expected to win 25, right? 25 pays 25. Let's say it's quarter flip, right? Bet 25 to win 25. I should lost it, right? Okay, go out there at 50. Okay, you double your bet in a loss. If you win at the $50 level, your win is 50, right? When you take it all back, you've got now $100 in your rack, right? You won your initial $25 back. What it does is as you double up, let's say you lose the 50, you go out there at 100, which means you would have lost 25, you would have lost 50, $75. You go out there for $100 bet, which is, again, your last bet doubled. When that bet wins 100, you would have recovered your 75 in loss and won the initial $25. It's a guarantee. If you do that forever, at some point you're going to win. That's the idea behind the Martingale. You always double your previous bet, right? When you finally win, you'll win what you were supposed to win on the first bet. Start the process over again. It's guaranteed. It's an unfailable, unbeatable way to play. No question. I'll never argue that point. The Martingale is a guaranteed, perfect betting system. You can even have more aggressive options, right? I do a Marty +1. So if I lose $25, instead of going out at 50, go out there at 55 or 60. If I lose the 60, go out there at, your initial flat bet was 25, 50, 100, go out there at 125, right? Do a little bit more each time. That way, when you do get the win, you're not just getting your initial expected, you're getting that plus a little bit of a bonus, right? That's a cool way to do it. Triple Martingales. Lose 25, go out there at 75. Lose 75, go out there at 2.25. Like triple it up every time, right? Just, if you're going to do it, right? Pedal to the gas, right? To the floor, run that thing up. So when you finally get the win, it's a win. It's a win that's worthwhile. That's a great way to consider it, right? If you're going to do it, negative progression, beat the crap out of the damn thing, right? Why not? You can put stop limits on it. See, I'm going to do it 5 times. I don't have the bankroll to last forever. I'll do that. I'll do a triple Marty 5 times. We'll go from 10 to 30 to 90 to whatever 270 to whatever 270 times 3 is. It's like 800 bucks, whatever that is. And that's it. I'll risk 2K, take 5 cracks at it and be done with it. Either I win or I don't win, right? Those are options you can do to the Marty. The problem with the Martingale, though, is this. When it goes bad, it goes really bad, really fast. Okay? We looked yesterday at this idea of laying the 4. And if you lay the 4 on the martingale, you're going to lay it for 100. You're going to lose. You're going to lay it for 200 and lose. Lay it for 400 and lose. Lay it for 800 and lose. How much have you lost so far? 100 plus 200 plus 1, 2, 3, 400. That's $700. If you lose the $800 bet, the 4th level, 7 plus 8 is now you're at $1,500 in loss. You got to go out there at $3K. You lose the $3K, you're at $4,500 in 5 outcomes. Rolls the dice, spins it, whatever it is, right? You don't have most people don't have the kind of money to do that. Okay. If you got 10 grand, you can do one more bet. One more bet, another $6,000. Now you're toast. Now your money is completely gone and you're done, right? Most people don't have enough money to get there. The bigger problem is this, right? And I've told you this before. Anytime you spring up with an advantage at a casino, what does the casino do? If you have an advantage of any kind, right? You can card count in blackjack, right? And because you can card count, you bet the spread differently. What does the casino do? They either kick you out, they don't want your action, or they go to a game that's 6-5 where your advantage is greatly reduced, like eliminated because the payouts are bullshit, or they go to the automatic shuffler. And the auto shufflers sometimes go every single outcome. Play a hand, auto shuffle. You can't count cards at all. They've eliminated your advantage, right? You go to roulette, there's no advantage playing roulette other than dealers that cheat and can target sectors. Well, guess what? There's controls in place to prevent dealers from doing that. In craps, without the alligator back wall, guys could actually control the dice, right? What do? Change the surface. They make you hit the back wall. The back wall has pyramids on it. Not every casino has the same number of pyramids. Some have 5, some have 7, some have 9 pyramids on the back wall. Everything's different, right? The whole thing is a cluster designed to take away any advantage you have. Martingale is a betting advantage. It is an advantaged play. No question about it. What do they do to stop that? They put a limit on how much you can bet. My local casino, $500 table limit. Okay. You can only go 3 levels. Maybe 4 if you started your bet at $5, right? You cannot get very far on these things because they'll stop you, right? And what happens if you're looking at a $25 bet, you lose it, you go to 50. That's level 1. You lose that, you go to 100. That's level 2. You lose that, you go to 200. That's level 3. You lose that, you can't go to 600. You can only go to 500, which means if you win at 500, you didn't recover your losses. You recovered part of your losses. You got to win at 500 again to get your losses back. And if you lose there, you're stuck there and you'll never recover your loss. The casinos put those table limits in place, not because they're sweating how much money a player who gets on a hot streak can win. The table limits are not there to prevent you from having a great run, right? And pressing your bets to the ceiling. That's not why table limits are there. Table limits are there to stop the martingale. That's the entire reason for them, because they know if they let you go forever, you'll eventually beat them. And you have a guarantee, and everybody would do it. You have a guaranteed win. You'd mortgage your house to win every single time. You'd never lose again. Boom, ceiling. They cap your bet so you can't win. That's the problem with it. Okay, you don't have the money. They will limit you. Okay, ultimately, it's a fallacy-based play. And I think it's important to understand. People who play the martingale are saying to themselves, "I can't possibly lose 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in a row. Can't possibly happen," right? You've all heard the Monaco casino story, right? The 29 blacks or 29 reds in a row. Can't possibly happen. It happens, right? The martingalers won that day. Everybody else got their tails kicked because they kept betting the other side of it, right? The impossible thing is a guarantee. You got to remember that. I think we've talked about this on the show before, right? If there's even a 1 out of 500,000 chance of something happening, it's non-zero. That means that it's going to happen. It may not happen today or tomorrow or even in your lifetime, but it's going to happen. We've heard stories of guys who have lost 20 times in a row in the field. I've seen that. I've seen 10, 15 in a row all the time in the field. You get those crushing box numbers up there, right? It happens. It happens a lot. The thing that can never happen will absolutely happen. And that's where the martingale fails. That's the problem with it, right? But, it can work. It can work if you give it limits, right? I'm only going to do 5. I'm not going to get destroyed by it. I'm going to give it 5 cracks. I play a system sometimes that's similar to what Tony Leo plays, right? He does the hop system and like I do too. If I'm throwing the dice and I see a lot of a certain number coming up, like when I set them and I see a lot of ones or something, right? I'll wheel the ones, right? Give me the 1 1, the 1 2, the 1 3, the 1 4, the 1 5, 1 6, right? Give me all the ones. I'll do that 5 times, right? And that's going to cost me 300. It's a home run shot for $300, right? That's what that basically is. If you limit it and say I'm going to give it 1 crack, that's fine. If I kept going, then I'd be a fool, right? You also, I think, martingales have a chance to be okay if you use it on a bet that pays greater than 1-to-1. Okay, hence field martingales. Okay, the field martingale, like blackjack, 1-to-1, 1-to-1, 1-to-1. You're Marty. You catch a blackjack, pays 3-2. You win plus a little extra. The field is the same way. 1-to-1, 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 1-to-1. You pop a midnight, it pays 2 or 3-to-1, and it mitigates some of the earlier stuff, right? That's when you're playing the martingale, if you're going to play it, do it on bets that end up paying you greater than 1-to-1. Remember, the probabilities, though, are down, right? If you have a bet that pays, let's say the 5 and 9, right? They pay 7-5, or the 4 and 10 that pay basically 2-to-1 when you buy them. Right? You martingale a 4 or a 10 that pays 2-to-1, but you're only winning half the time, right? You're going to exceed probability to make that thing work. But when it does pay 2-to-1 and you're exceeding expectations, that's where the martingale can catch a little bit of fire on you and win, right? But remember, when it goes ugly quick, and the casinos will not let you get past a certain point. They'll never let you beat them. Okay. So if you Marty up to a level, you're going to be okay. You're going to lose because you're going to get to level 4 or 5 and be like, well, that happens. Trust me, 5 losses in a row happens all the time. You'll get there and you'll get killed. You start going past that, and trust me, I have seen tables have their limits lowered. I've watched people martingale that don't pass. I've watched this happen. Get that thing up to table max, and win. Guess what? The table max goes down. I've seen the table max go down. I've seen the minimum go up from 10 to 25, and the max go from 1,500 to 1,000. I've seen that a number of times. Why? They want that first bet higher, so your first martingale doesn't go from 25 to 50. It goes from 50 to 100, right? 100 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, and you're freaking done at that point. You cannot go past that. 4 levels and you're done because they started you higher than you wanted to be and they capped your ceiling. You can't even get to the 5th level when they do that kind of thing. That's what they'll do. They will not let a guaranteed system ever catch a win. So know that. That's why friends don't let friends martingale, because the casinos are hip to the game. Ain't gonna let it happen. So pass it along. You see somebody on YouTube telling you blah, 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 and martingale it, give them one of these. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work unless you put caps and restrictions on it. That's a very important thing. So that's my rant. Today's kind of a ranty day. So there's that. Let's go ahead here and look at some questions. Any more PC questions in here? Let's see. Can you buy a raffle ticket? Of course. The raffle tickets will be available online. And I'm working, I haven't done it yet. I'm working with the software to see how much, if you can buy raffle tickets ahead of time, and then say, I'm going to buy like 50 raffle tickets and put 10 here and 10 here and 10 here and 10 there versus buying raffle tickets individually for each item. I don't know if the software will allow us to do that, but yes, you can buy them all virtually for sure. Skill. The Triple X, martingale, the double tap, all those things, they all end up in the same spot. It's skill 66, same thing, right? When you need multiple hits to get there, or it's nothing, it's 2 hits or nothing. They're tough, but where you exceed and where you overcome some of the negative EV is with the bigger hits. The bigger hits that compound eat up some of the house edge. It does eat up some of the house edge, but again, getting there, half the fun, they say, right? All right, what else is in chat? Anything else in chat that I need to pay attention to? We got 35 people here, which is a good crowd today, actually. There will be not an online auction, it'll be an online raffle. So what we're going to do, Jim, is we're going to say $5 or $10 raffle tickets, and you can say, hey, I want to buy Joe's table. I'm going to put 20 raffle tickets on it. And at the end of the day, I'll spin the wheel and you'll have 20 entries and maybe you have a chance to win it. That's how that's probably going to work. Let's say, yeah, casinos used to say years ago, if you have a system, we'll fly you here, right? That way, again, they will make it not work. They'll make your system fail for sure. There's no question about it. Waylon says, people say they don't believe in strategy, that they play a certain way every time. And I'm with you, man. It's funny because people get really sideways about the word strategy. And I told you, like in the gambling series, like to me, a strategy is, where is my bets? What am I betting on? How much am I betting on each thing that I'm betting on? And what do I do when I win? Those three factors is a strategy. You don't have to call it that. Waylon names everything, right? He calls it, the left-footed hopping bunny, whatever strategy. Who cares, right? Why do you name a strategy? I'll tell you why. I'm gonna type this in, right? Waylon, why do you name your strategies? What you name them? I'm gonna type something. Okay, I typed in something here. Waylon's gonna type in chat. Why does he name his strategies? People give him a bunch of shit all the time because Waylon has all these crazy strategy names. Why do you name your strategies? I have my answer. As soon as I see you type yours in, I'm going to press enter. I'm just going to press one key and you'll see my answer. It's going to match his because I know what he's going to say, right? Strategies are what they are. What am I betting on? How much am I betting? What do I do when I win? And I guess the fourth thing, what do I do when I lose, right? It's all the moves you're making. All that goes together to constitute what you might call play style. Okay, you want to call it a play style versus strategy? I don't care, right? Right, there's what Waylon says. Here's my answer to that. My answer is, so you don't forget what you get them and you can refer back. That's why I have a thing I do called the Philly Special. I call it that because I'm from Philly and it's a cool way to play. I name it that so I don't forget what it is. And when I refer to it, you know what I'm talking about, right? That way of playing, right? That's why we name them, right? That's the whole reason, right? It's not just clickbait. It's actually, there's a name, there's a reason for some of these things. And yeah, you don't have to call it a strategy, but that's what it is. All right, here we go. Last thing, my final thoughts are this. I want to say this. I'm going to get on all your cases. Everybody sit up in your chair. Stop. If you're at work, hit pause on your Zoom meeting. Everybody, right now, this is going to be the most important thing you hear all week, probably all day. Today is my air quotes birthday. Everybody say in chat, happy birthday, John. It's not really my birthday. It's kind of my death day. Here's my life story. On August 21st, actually I was born September 12th, 1968. I'll be 56 in a couple of weeks. On August 21st, 2005, which is almost exactly 2 months after my daughter was born. Okay. On August 21st, 05, I dropped dead. I had the heart attack. We've heard the story before. I've had a heart attack. I was playing ice hockey and my heart stopped. During a game, my heart stopped, turned purple, passed out. By the grace of God, player on the ice who was a fill-in player. He was not supposed to be there that night. He was a fill-in guy, just 19 years old, graduated as an EMT student that day, the day before, right? Stops the game, runs out, right? Does the thing, mouth to mouth, the whole thing, right? Got one guy's giving me mouth to mouth. He's doing the hard things, right? They saved my life on the ice, right? August 21st. Right? My family says it's your pre-birthday, right? The day I came back to life was August 21st. Okay. August 24th was the day of my surgery. And I had quadruple bypass. They had cracked my chest, pulled it out, took out my heart, did the thing, put it back in again. And there you go. The reason why I have this tattoo, you can't really, I know you guys can't see it very well. I'll show it to you here. The skull tattoo, right? Reminds me, of death, number one. I have a scar that goes from my wrist all the way up. This big old scar that is where they pulled the vein from to rebuild my heart, plus one from my leg. Okay. August 24th is the day that I celebrate my rebirth. It's my new birthday. Okay, that's when I woke up from the surgery and I was a new person. Okay. On August 21st, I recommitted myself to God. That was the day. I grew up Catholic, right? There was a period of time where I left the church for lots of reasons. After I passed, was saved, reborn, you can call it, and came back. And I was like, what the hell happened to me? right? I recommitted myself on August 24th. So there you have it. It's Happy Death Day, Rebirth Day. August 24th is my new quote unquote birthday. I still celebrate the 12th of September, of course, is my natural birthday. But my final thoughts are this to you all. I was 36 years old when that happened. Okay. Thought I was invincible like we all do at 36, right? You all, 100% of you are more than 36 years old. There's maybe one of you out there that's younger than that, right? Get to your doctors. Get the blood tested, do the stress test, do all the things. We all, as a people, eat like ass. Not actual ass, but we eat like ass. We're candy and we're popcorn and we're chips and we're steak and we're all the things. Meat, cheese, and pizza, right? We eat like crap. We are running slugs through our veins, most of us. Go get yourself checked out, please. Go. It doesn't take much to get yourself checked out, right? Especially the older you get. Make sure you're looking at it. Make sure you're looking at it because it'll come. What they tell you when you have a heart attack is this. The first sign, the first symptom of heart problems is usually death. I was lucky that there was somebody there. Usually the first symptom is you die. If you're lucky, you get to keep going. That's the first symptom of it. Don't let that bite you in the ass. Stop smoking, right? Eat better, get some exercise, do your thing, have your doctor look at you guys. All right. That's the thing that you all have to do. And again, for me, it was my impetus to reconnect and recommit, right? My life changed completely on that day. That's my final thoughts to all of you all, right? I want to give you encouragement. I'm not trying to sing off the church, but I want to give you the encouragement. Change my life for sure. But if nothing else, get to your doctors, get your asses up and walk. We lost Chiro last year to a heart problem, right? He was trying to quit smoking. He was trying to lose weight. You know, it bit him in the ass too late. Too late. We cannot all fall to that. Okay. So go get yourselves taken care of, please. And yeah, there's Waylon's way. This day should remind me that God isn't through with me yet. You got a plan for me? For sure. For sure. I know there's a plan. I don't know what it is. Maybe my plan is to help you guys not play martingales. I don't know. But hopefully I brain dump with you guys all the time, right? Because I'm trying to share the wisdom all the time that I've gained. This is some of the wisdom, right? So there it is. All right. John Pine wants me to address my one comment. What is the one comment? I don't even know what that is. Limits being, he's saying, Preacher Martingale. Oh, let's go backwards. I'll go back the screen. I'm going to go back to answer. I preach that a martingale is super bad, but have you tried an added negative progression, saying the 8 and prove it can backfire rather than just saying it's, I can do it. I mean, not today, of course I have work here, but I can totally show you how it backfires. You know, it's not that hard to prove because once you get past a certain point, right? And do the math yourself, right? Even at a $12 table, $12 8 goes to 24, goes to 48, goes to 96, goes to 208, whatever the next is. And then it's at 500. Then you're at 490. You can't go past that on some tables. The next bet is over $1,000, right? You get 6 levels in and you're done. That's the problem with it. I can do it with chips and show it to you, right? But you get 5 or 6 levels in and once you hit the ceiling that the casino has as a limit, that's the biggest problem with the Marty. It's not the fact that it doesn't work. It's that they cap your bets. The biggest problem is they cap your bets. And once they cap your bet, you'll never recover, right? Once you're at the point where your win does not recover all of your losses, that's when you're in a problem. What you have to do at that point is switch to La Bouchère, right? Or De Lambert rather. Switch from that and take a hit and start working your way backwards. And you got to change in the middle of it. Even then, you're going to run into table limits. Trust me, this is where this thing falls short. It's not the fact that your bankroll is the problem or that the 6 or 8 can't survive problem. It's the table max problem. That's where the whole thing falls on its face. All right, guys, I'm out. You have a great Tuesday or a great Wednesday. Whatever. Today's Wednesday. Have a great Wednesday. Love y'all. God bless all of you. Yes, I did give Kevin the shout out. I sure did. We called it out. I think, by the way, I'll repeat this for those who came late. I think Kevin Smith gave $500 yesterday, which is awesome. And I think also the total, I want to say it's 3,000. I think it's more than 3K. I think we already did 3K and now we're like a little more than that. So yeah, we're killing it, man. That Layla fund is growing quick. And like I said, the goal there is 10K. We get the 10K in that account. That'll pay for her entire education. How cool is that? How cool is that, right? What a great legacy for our friend Chiro. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Love y'all. God bless every one of you. And I will see you tomorrow morning for another regular paycheck ahead of Friday Follies. So I'll see you then. In the meantime, God bless. Have a good one.